Peace and love. I hope all is well with you. I decided to come on here today and do a lover's reading. I haven't done one in a while. And let's go and get started. Today I'll be using 3 decks by Carla Morrow. And I started with the Dragon Oracle cards here. The art is by Carla Morrow, but the writing is by Diana Cooper. And I got this many years ago when this first came out for my son. And they don't have a year, but he didn't really take an interest to them, so I've adopted them. And then I have the Universal Dragon Oracle and the Enchanted Blossoms. I just wanted to show you guys, because I like to show you the cards I'm using, just in case you want to look into them for yourselves. And so, my little cat is waiting to get out. Stella, give me a moment. I'm going to open the door for her. All right, sweetie. I have 2 cats, if you guys don't know. They've been in the videos, featured in the videos from time to time. Stella and Ninja. So, alright, so the love readings I do on this channel, I don't do them that often. I'm starting doing them more. But they're focused on the masculine and feminine energy. And like I say in all these readings, the main love is between you and the Most High, but also coming together between the masculine and feminine and within the self. That's the main love, loving yourself fully, bringing yourself into balance. Only when we bring ourselves to balance will we find that love that we're looking for, and love comes in all forms. So these readings are bringing yourself into balance. If you aren't looking for love, if you're just on your spiritual path, if you're with a partner, it's between you and your partner, the masculine and feminine energies. If you are on the search for love, it's not holding a particular idea of a person in mind, nobody's name, you're not thinking about of anybody in particular. That's when the issues start. You just have the idea of being loved fully, right? And how the universe will present that to you is how it will be presented. There's no other way to say it but that. We're not waiting for particular people. We're not waiting for someone to recognize our ideas of love. We're not waiting for somebody to recognize how beautiful we are or who we are. Because when we match with that energy, they'll know who we are. Okay, they'll be able to understand it. It'll be reciprocal, and that's what we're looking for on this channel. And that's what I talk about on this channel: reciprocity in love, reciprocity in communication, and in all those things. It's important that equal energy share, that give and take. If you do not have that, then it's not healthy. I will not tell you that someone is coming back. I don't believe that. I don't believe in waiting on exes and people from the past, or waiting on people that have never shown you any type of affection or care. You know, you're waiting on them and they're happily playing with their children and making love to their wife. That type of situation is detrimental to not only your spirit, but your spiritual path. So we don't wait for that, okay? We continue to move forward with our work. We continue to move forward with our visions. And as we're moving forward with healing, and on that healing path, we find the love that's correct for us, right? Correct for our spiritual work. Because life is a spiritual lesson and a spiritual movement, okay? So let's go ahead and get some cards down. I'll save this for last. I'm going to pull 2 for the feminine energy, divine feminine, and 2 for the masculine energy. And for me, lovers, all this, the spiritual soulmate connections, it means that we are both working on our path together. Maybe we're doing the same thing. Maybe we're doing different things. But when 2 people come together, 2 energies come together, it should be easier. Okay, not saying that everything will be easy, but it shouldn't be a lot of confusion, guys. It shouldn't be a lot of confusion. It shouldn't be a lot of hurt. It shouldn't be a lot of pain. It shouldn't be. Those things do come with life. And nobody is perfect, and we all are healing. But some of the stuff that some of the readers talk about, some of the rigmarole that people are saying is happening, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And a lot of the readers on here aren't healthy. Okay? They're not really called to read cards. Thank you, Spirit. Sorry for my soapbox. I just have to get on it. I want to let people know. You know, a lot of people, they come here and watch my videos. They don't stick around. And so that's either a good thing or a bad thing. It's, you know, that's just life. But I talk and I speak with love. And I talk and speak with kindness. And I'm here because I'm sharing my love that I have for the Most High, for my ancestors, for my spirit guides with you. And so I can honestly and truthfully say I care for you, whoever you are. And I want only the best for you, for your spiritual development, for your healing. And that's it. That's all. All right. Thank you, Most High, for another day of life, waking up this morning, being able to see the beauty that's around me. Thank you, ancestors, for your strength, your courage, for your guidance, angels, for your protection. Thank you, higher self, for your knowing and for your wisdom, and for allowing us to be who we are. Allowing me to walk in my purpose and giving me strength and courage to do so. Spirit, what messages do you have for the feminine energy? Just 2 cards as we're working to come into union, some with others, some we're already in partnerships and we're happily so, and some we just want to come into union with ourselves as we move forward on our spiritual paths. Thank you, angels. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, guides. Without you, I really don't even know what else to say about that. You all understand it, right? So I give thanks to those energies for me, guiding me and protecting me along the way. I don't want to start tearing up. Thank you, guys. Thank you, mother, grandmother, grandfather. All right, service. We're looking at the feminine energy. I'm going to pull both. And then boundaries. That's what we're talking about, and that's what I just talked about. And we'll go into it a little bit more. But go ahead and start getting those ideas in your head of what you think they could mean, right? Because the reading is between the both of us. Whoever's watching, you're in the reading with me. And you have your own ideas. You have your own thoughts. Your intuition is working just as well as mine, right? So we're in this together. Acceptance, right? On the bottom. I'm not going to pull this one out, but just remember that. Spirit wants you to accept yourself for who you are. They want you to accept your work. They want you to be happy in this state of maybe being on your own, creating those clear boundaries. Let's clear it. Angels, thank you for those messages. What reading and what cards do you have for the divine masculine on this journey? Coming together into union, coming together with the self. Working towards healing, working towards courage, working towards strength. Also working towards acceptance. Accepting the mission, accepting the realities, accepting that things aren't as easy as you thought they would be. Right? All right, so at first we have conviction, all right? Trusting and knowing without a shadow of a doubt, right? And then stillness. How do we get to that conviction here? And then speak your dreams is on the bottom. So just remember that. So for the feminine, we had acceptance. And then we had speak your dreams. So we already see what we're talking about here. That acceptance and that courage that it takes to come into full alignment with the self. Even if we're not thinking about a partnership, being who we truly are, accepting our gifts, accepting our mission, our work, our service for the feminine, that we have to have clear boundaries, those things. Accepting those things are important, but those things are not easy. Feminine energy, spirit, thank you. Feminine energy, spirit, thank you. What are we here to do? What are we here to do? What message do you have for us? Thank you, angels. Crystal yellow dragon, and I'll read it in a minute. Masculine energy, thank you, spirit. What are we here to do, right? We all the same. Masculine feminine just popped out. All right. Aquamarine dragon from Neptune. These cards are interesting to me. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Crystal yellow dragon opens you to higher learning and wisdom. Expand your crown chakra for illumination. Walk the higher spiritual path. And that's where you are. And if that's not where you are, that's where you need to be. How do you get there? Through boundaries. Okay? Boundaries always seems like a harsh energy, but it's a spiritual energy and it's needed for restoration. As you see, this dragon is kind of sitting here in the water in stillness. Both the masculine and feminine have similar energies here with the stillness card and the boundaries card. But this is an energy of you know. You know what you're here to do. You understand your calling. You understand your gifts. You understand your purpose. But how do you go from understanding it to executing it, right? If you're dealing with negative, heavy energies, if you are around people who pull you down and weigh you down, if you are in jobs that don't serve your higher purpose, if you are in relationships that don't serve your higher purpose, then this card comes out to say that you need to create clear boundaries for your spirit, for your spiritual well-being, for your health, for the healing of the body, the mind, and you know what it means, right? And so Spirit is saying that you have an idea of where you're going. You know what you need to do. You've been called into your purpose. But now you need to create those boundaries. And that goes against the idea of wanting to get into a love relationship, wanting to be in a connection. You can be with somebody and still need to set up clear boundaries. You can be in a happily ever after relationship and still need to create those boundaries, right? It's just saying I need to be at one with myself and my spirit. I need to separate myself for a moment to make sure that I'm on the right path. Right? I need to have that space that I can go into, whether it's a physical space or whether it's a mental space, right? Heart space. Wherever that space is for you that you need to go in and to create, right? Create your vision for that spiritual walk and that spiritual path that you are here to do, right? And so it's scary when we think about love relationships. I think that's why people love them so much, because we always get this idea that we can only walk the path of someone. But we walk in the path with our spirit guides, right? I'm walking the path of my ancestors and my angels. The Most High is with me, all right? And so we're never walking the path alone. So if we remove that idea of aloneness, then when we start to think about boundaries, things become more clear. They become more reasonable, or they become more palatable, right? And so it's necessary. It's not saying that you can't love. It's not saying that they won't find you. It's not saying that these things won't happen. What it's saying that you need to find yourself more than anything, right? Not only finding yourself, when you find yourself, you need to sit with yourself. Sometimes we're called to do things that are a little bit different, and I've talked about it a lot here. You can go back and look at any videos. And you step out and you're ready to move into your purpose, and people are saying, oh, hey, what's going on here, right? And so we can't go out blazing unless we're comfortable with who we are. We're comfortable with how we're presenting ourselves to the world. We're comfortable with how we're presenting ourselves to ourselves, right? That's the first audience, the self. If we're not comfortable presenting ourselves to ourselves, then nobody's going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to be able to move into it with power and strength. You're not going to execute it properly. All right? It's weak. All right? It's crumpled. It doesn't have the full flight or the momentum to pick up full flight. It's just not there. So the true belief comes with the self. That has to be done with boundaries. Any type of powerful spiritual work is done with boundaries in place. Nobody is growing spiritually surrounding themselves around a lot of people. It's no way possible, because you're picking up on those energies if you're sensitive, right? You're picking up on those energies, and you're watching what they're doing, and you're watching what this person, what they're doing, and you're modeling your spiritual life after them. When we come here with the seed implanted in us, inside of us, saying that this is the path that we walk, we can't access the seed, we can't water it properly if we're looking at what other people are doing. That's why the boundaries are here. Moving into service, that's it. That's all it is. Whatever job, McDonald's, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, highest capacity possible, taking whatever that is and bringing that spiritual element into it just by being kind, right? Sometimes kindness is the easiest way to be spiritual. Spirit is saying that you're here to be of service in whatever way that seed has been planted in you. It's different for everyone. My service is different than yours. But Spirit is saying that you're here in act of service. That's what you're here to do. That is the spiritual path that you walk. It's nothing else. It's nothing else. Anything else would be detrimental to your spirit, and anything else would be false. There won't be any fulfillment in the work. There won't be any understanding of the vision. There won't be any clarity of sight without the service. You have to know what the service is. The service will be revealed to you with the boundaries intact. The service won't be revealed to you any other way. It doesn't require other people. And I think we get so wrapped up in wanting to have other people involved in our vision. Those things will come in time. Those things might not come the way you think they are. And sometimes a vision is a solo journey, in a way, with your guides and the ones that come along to help you from time to time. Depend on yourself more. Love yourself more. Believe in yourself more. Right? And so with that trust, with that compassion for yourself, with that true belief and trust in that conviction, which we talk about when we get to the masculine energy, that's needed too. It's needed for the service work, and it's needed for the boundaries. It's going into the boundaries knowing that you'll step out with a true understanding of your path. It's not just, let me just wall myself off from other people. I don't need to deal with anybody. They don't know what I'm going through. Let me just get into my own world, and then I can figure it out. It's a softness of it. It's a soft energy as well. It's a hard and soft. It's a balance of the two. It's knowing when you have to say no, and you have to cut it like that. But it's also knowing when you need to let those people, and mainly those guides, those spiritual guides that come in the physical form and come in the spirit form into your life, to give you that wisdom, to give you that understanding, right? And so it's that play between the hard and the soft. The solar plexus chakra is presented here a lot with this gold energy. That's the seed of knowing in the body. It's knowing. It's knowing when something is right and knowing when something is wrong. If you're in a relationship and it doesn't feel right, it's not right. If you're trying to chase down somebody and it doesn't feel right, it's not right. If they don't treat you with love and kindness, it's not right. If they don't acknowledge you, it's not right. Okay, guys? If they wouldn't put water on you if you're on fire, it's not right. These things are common sense, but when we get wrapped up in our emotions, when we don't step away and create those boundaries, we're just flying. We're just flying with no sense of direction. We're allowing the emotions to lead the body in the heart space, which is powerful when it's spiritually led, when it's powerful, when it's done with those boundaries, and when it's done with that active service, when it's done with that spiritual, when you've gone through the rites of passage, or when you've consulted with your guides, when you're flying spiritually in that way. That's a beautiful thing. But when you're flying without any boundaries intact, without any true understanding of yourself, without any true understanding of your service work, you're putting yourself in a hard spot to learn hard lessons, not once, not twice, but many times over. And I'm not talking to you because I'm playing. I'm talking to you because I understand it and I know. Everything that I'm telling you, the boundaries, the work, the service, I've cried. I've been there. I've been in that space where I've been in a dark room and I've had to sit there alone. That's life. I don't talk without understanding. I don't talk without experience. I wouldn't be here to do that. I'm not here to tell you sweet nothings, right? Because the lessons aren't necessarily found in the sweet nothings. Those are there too. I love you, right? But here's the thing. Life is difficult, and that's all it is. But even through those difficulties, we push forward with that service work. It's a must, right? Masculine energy here. We have the aquamarine dragon from Neptune, okay? Enables you to access your deepest soul wisdom. Spirituality and wisdom are available to you. develop your psychic abilities, and receive the full soul knowledge. All right. So we're working with the crown chakra, but we're also, in my opinion, always when I see that blue, we're working with the throat chakra. I feel like with the masculine energy, being able to speak the truth is very important. Where the feminine energy might be able to speak the truth, but if you're not in the right situation, in the right condition, then the truth is just like this, you know. If you know it in your heart, that's all that matters. I believe in that 100%. But you have to even be in a point where you're able to even speak the truth. First, you have to have the truth on the inside, right? That's where that insight comes from, that intuition, trusting the self, having true conviction, all right? How do you get to this conviction? How do you get there? How do you even get there? How do you know what you're saying is true? How do you even know your truth? How do you express it? How do you express it with power, with integrity, with forcefulness, with the stillness here? Also that energy of the water, going near water if you have to, being alone if you need to be. We have the amethyst here, which is the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, higher level energy, psychic gifts, spirit guides, working with ancestral and spirit guides, purification, removal of addiction, also with amethyst. Stilling yourself, not even to go out into the world now. Stilling yourself, it's different with the feminine energy here, with that service. It means you've been called to work. With the masculine energy, you've been called to be still. You've been called to not take it out yet, because you can't take it out necessarily because you might not even know it or trust it on the inside. The conviction comes when you fully trust. If you haven't stilled your body, if you haven't stilled your mind, if you haven't looked into your heart, then the conviction won't be there. Because conviction is just truth. If you haven't sat with yourself, then you don't know your own truth. That's what Spirit is asking you to do. Take that time, sit with yourself in meditation, sit with yourself in solitude without anyone around, without the eyes of others, without the words and the opinions of others. Moving away from that. Moving away from that. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they think, because their path is different than yours. How they have to move and navigate in this world is different than yours. The fact that you're listening here, that you're here with me, means that you are on a higher level spiritual path. Friends, I'm only here to work with people who are on higher level spiritual paths. I'm only here to work with people who are in service to humanity, and who are in service to the Most High energy, and who walk in tandem with their ancestors. That's what I'm here to do. Sorry about that. So first we have to come in contact with the truth. Once we come in contact with the truth, it might be shocking, right? Whatever the truth might be, that's what I find in life. Sometimes the truth is shocking. Sometimes the truth is not, it's not an easy thing to swallow. And so we want to turn it over, or we want to act like it doesn't exist, or we want to say, oh, I'll deal with that later. But you have to go in stillness and you have to deal with it now. It's a must. It's no other way. And so when we access that truth, we have to have the courage to believe it. Once we believe that truth, you know who we're believing? We're believing ourselves. We're believing the path. We're believing the vision that's been set for you or before you. It's the seed that's been implanted here before you got here. That's the truth. When you're able to access that truth that comes with stillness, when you're able to believe the truth that comes with courage, you're able to set off with the truth. When you start speaking with the truth, which comes from utilizing the throat chakra in a powerful way, When you start accessing the truth in that and speaking the truth, that's when the conviction comes. Because anything else will fall flat. It won't be real. It will just be falseness, fluff, dust, debris, you know. Nothing that you will remember the next day. Conviction, truth, these energies are powerful. These things they stand the test of time. They don't just wither away. They don't just die. And if spirit and if life and if the lessons have if you've been grounded down, right? If you can visualize that, with that truth and that conviction, even with that dust, you spring back up, right? With power and with strength. Like stone. The dust can become to stone again. But without the conviction, without the truth, without acknowledging your truth and believing your truth, which means you don't believe yourself. That's what it ultimately means. If you don't believe your truth, you don't believe yourself. You don't believe who you are. That's scary. And that comes across in a lot of the readings that I do with the masculine and feminine energy. That courage to walk in your true power. If you don't believe in yourself, that dust just becomes dust. It just blows away, right? It never comes back to stone again. Lessons have worn you down. Life has worn you down and you've withered away. Don't do that. All right, so let's pull one more on the journey of the masculine and feminine together. And so this is the Enchanted Blossoms. And like I said, the readings are masculine and feminine. Both of those readings pertain to me. The masculine reading I just did and the feminine, right? Knowing your truth. That's everybody. That's why it's important to look at these energies and say, what can I pull from both readings? What do I need to work on? Coming into balance with the self. Nobody is better. Nobody is better than the other. Nobody is more, knows more. The feminine energy is ready to move and moving and not afraid, maybe a little different, but there's still things that need to be worked on. There's no perfection there. There's no perfection in the spiritual life just in general, right? Because we're always learning and growing. If we thought we had it, we know it all, what are we doing? You know, what's the growth in that? How can we share with others if we think we know it all? I was taught lessons yesterday. You know, the day's not over with. I'm sure I'll be taught another lesson. This is a lesson, what I just laid down for me. Get taught hard lessons, guys. I rise back up, even while crying, even in the tears. I rise back up. I rise back up for my mother, for my grandmother, my grandfather. I rise back up for my ancestors. What can I do differently now that they couldn't do? And what can I do to open the pathways up, not only just for me, for my future generations, but also their spiritual energy, their spiritual body? We work together. All right. Let's end on see what Spirit has for us. Grace, Yellow Jasmine, the Two-Tailed Pasha. And this is a beautiful deck. So, grace. Allowing yourself to go through changes. Allowing yourself to make mistakes. Allowing yourself to walk a different direction. Allowing yourself to regroup. Allowing yourself to heal. Allowing yourself to love. Even if love doesn't, if the love is different than what you thought, even if things don't play out, you loved. And you love with an open heart. Being confident with your heart. Even when things knock you down. Loving yourself. Loving yourself in the difficulties. Loving yourself in the dark days. That's grace. Right? And Spirit says that's where the prosperity lies. Maybe not with the money and the financials, prayerfully so, but definitely with the truth and the conviction and the love, not only of the Most High, but when you're loving yourself fully. Peace.